I will say this, I hope the Republicans' new healthcare system is good, because I'm getting whiplash from all of these scandals. You know, it's just like, he did what? Wait, what? What? Again? Who said what? Ah! So we'll get into that tomorrow after Trump gives us the real story at 3 a.m. on Twitter. But first, let's move on and talk about what we learned yesterday, right? Yesterday we learned that Trump had himself apparently told national security secrets to Russians. And we look at the fallout in our recurring segment, Moscow in the Middle. So here's what we know. Last week, President Trump met with Russian diplomats and reportedly told them classified information about an ISIS terror plot. And we know that that information came from a foreign ally who did not want the US to share it with the Russians, because they know you don't want Russians in your business. How are we not getting this? How are we still confused by this? No one wants Russians getting information. It doesn't matter what the information is. It could be a surprise party that your friend told you about. If you tell the Russians, it's not gonna end well. Your friend is gonna wash up on the beach without his head, and you'll be like, but this had nothing to do with the Russians. And the Russians will be like, yeah, why take the risk? You never know. Yeah, you never know. You said you want surprise, now you're surprised. Now look, don't get me wrong. Everyone gossips. It's fun, and as every high school freshman knows, it makes you popular and, like, super cool. The problem is when a president gossips, the stakes can be pretty high.
Outrage in Washington and beyond over these new reports that President Trump may have revealed highly classified information during his Oval Office meeting with Russian officials.
What President Trump has done has betrayed that core premise that allows us to have relationships around the world. The real danger, beyond infuriating this close ally, is that our friends and partners will think once, they'll think twice. Maybe they won't share information with us at all.
We rely on our allies around the world to give us information. If we can't show at the highest levels of government that we can be trusted to safeguard that information, then we jeopardize our access to that information.
That's right. Trump is basically like the one guy who didn't know that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And instead, the second he got home, he posts all the pictures on Instagram and then, like, tags you and your wife in it. And guess what? Now I'm divorced, Brian! This is where we see the whole idea of Trump is a lie. The whole idea of Trump is a lie, even by his own standards, right? He's complete bull. What did Trump preach during the campaign? Protecting America from terrorism at all costs. And how does America do that? By gathering and acting on very sensitive and confidential information from friends and allies around the world. What's going to happen now? America's going to get shut out because no one can trust the president not to spill their secrets whenever he has his friends come over for a play date. And here's how you know the story is a big deal. For the first time since the election, Republican leaders seem to be having buyer's remorse.
Republican Senator Bob Corker, a Trump supporter, telling journalists the White House is in a downward spiral.
Senator Susan Collins quipped to reporters, "Can we have a crisis-free day? That's all I'm asking."
Well, if it's true, obviously it's disturbing. Obviously, if it's not a good thing.
It's just not a good thing. You don't think so bad when you're describing your president's actions the same way you describe the love child of an incestuous couple, you know? No, don't blame me. I just saw the promo for Game of Thrones, people. Don't judge me. I'm a victim of my culture, people. Also, by the way, the highest-ranking member of the Trump administration, he also jumped to Trump's defense. Of course, I'm talking about Fox News, yes? They've fallen back on the excuse that they give every time damaging information leaks about Trump. Fix these dang leaks.
I have a message for those who work in that house, the White House. Enough with the self-serving leaks.
The leaks inside this administration are hurting both their functioning and the security of this country.
Whoever's leaking at the Washington Post, what they're doing is even worse.
Baby, it's not about me cheating on you. It's that these hoes ain't loyal. We gotta get to the bottom of this together. You and me, baby. We gotta find these leaks.